Let me adjust the lighting. All right. All right, guys. Good evening. Welcome to Paranormal Witchcraft LLC. I am Tobias Josephson. And this is where we approach the paranormal differently. I'm going to ask you guys a question here tonight. Good evening. How are you, my friend? Containment Laboratory Experiment number 2. Doing a little bit of laboratory experimentation with the theories we discussed earlier in the day. Containment Laboratory Experiment 2. What happens when escalation begins? Tonight is not a ghost hunt. Tonight is a laboratory experiment. Last session, we ran Containment Experiment 1, which was last night, all right, using this device. Ironically, we're going to use the same device tonight. All right. Tomorrow, we'll switch it up, use a different device, maybe the Xbox, maybe the Epoch box, etc. Right? But tonight, I double-checked, and we're going to use it for tonight as well. So last night, if you missed it, go back and watch that. We removed escalation in our first experiment. There was no provocation. We just sit quietly and we observed. There was no emotional pressure, etc., etc. Okay? So that being said, the environment became extremely quiet, which is what we expected all along. Which raises a difficult question for paranormal investigators. What if investigations sometimes create their own activity that they're claiming to document? Now, as you've noticed, I've taken the liberty before the live to post a vote, all right? That's going to be the format going forward. Gives you guys something to do, something to look forward to, something to engage with. Follow along. Type containment as I did, or type escalation. Which do you personally believe produces more paranormal activity? Doesn't matter which answer you choose, all right? Chris says containment, all right, thank you. So here's the rules of the laboratory. Rule number 1, absolutely no assumptions. Okay? No assumptions equals real evidence. Rule number 2, evidence must survive a pattern. It must survive repetition. Rule number 3, observation before interpretation or escalation. Rule number 4, only one variable changes. Tonight, the variable is investigator behavior. I am the variable. So the device we're going to use tonight is a Ouija EMF meter. Okay? We'll cycle it on so you guys can see what's going on. There we go. Contacts are loose in there. I think that's all right. I'll fix it. The device is meant to detect electromagnetic fluctuations. When the field changes, those lights will activate. All right? And it won't activate by me. See? Okay? When the field changes, the lights will activate. That's how this thing works. Okay? So tonight, we test a different question here together. Who do we have in here tonight? Truth Tarot readings. Good evening. How are you? Does the device react differently depending on human behavior in the room? Does the device react differently depending on human behavior in the room? My answer is yes. Yes. Chris says yes. Blessed be. Here's the experiment structure that we've set up. There'll be 2 experiments that will be conducted. Experiment 1, we will use containment over chaos, evidence over egos. Experiment 2, we will switch gears to the polar opposite and we will use escalation, introducing typical investigations behaviors. The rain is starting. I don't know if you heard the thunder in the background, but the rain is at our doorstep. Everything remains the same in both experiments except for my behavior. Experiment 1, containment. Here's my rules I have to follow. I can't provocate. I'm not going to predict anything. I'm not going to use any emotional escalation, all right, or even physical escalation for that matter, where you'll see people get up and start charging. I know you're here. Where are you? All right, we're not going to do any of that. All right. So, device is already set up. I don't need to do that. We've stepped back. It doesn't look like it, but I'm actually 2 feet away from this thing. I just have the laptop as close to the edge of this table as it can get so you guys can really get a good idea of what's going on here in a few minutes when we turn the lights off. Okay? Go back and make sure I didn't miss anything. So we've placed the device on the workbench behind me. I have it propped up with a flashlight that's turned off. Batteries are taken out, even for a safety. All right. So that way it can't affect the environment. It's just being used, all right, empty to hold up the device. All right. So we've stepped back. Okay. We're going to observe the environment and we're going to allow silence for observation. So let me turn the light off. This is containment over chaos. All right. So let's tell you a creepy story. Ha ha ha. All right. So in containment, I'm not going to even ask if there's anything here tonight. I'm going to sit here and observe quietly. I want you guys to notice my hands are right here. Okay. All right. So I'm not going anywhere. All right. My hands are right here. So if those lights move, it is not us. Okay. And I'll even show you. Oh, I don't have it with me. I thought, oh, I do actually. Okay. So my cell phone again is touching. All right. Nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. And it is off. Okay. But even so, these things can still sometimes fuck with other devices. But, anyways, so we're going to sit here for about 2 minutes in quiet. You might hear some chimes outside. You might hear some thunder because it's starting to rain here. You might hear any number of normal environmental factors. All right. But I want you guys to think about what you're feeling. Think about what you're seeing. I want you to focus on that board and comment if you see anything I do not. Let's turn the light back. You guys can see I am still here. Okay. But I want to make sure that you guys can see the device clearly. Nothing's happening. I don't feel anything around me. I hear the rain outside and I hear the wind. All right. So now we're going to close this process, this experiment down. Okay. We're going to cycle off this device for about 30 seconds. Okay. And then we're going to start again using escalation. Okay. So let's say goodbye. Circle is now closed. We'll wait about 30 seconds. Okay. And so while we're doing that, I'll lean in and I'll check the comments. We have Blessed Bree, Brother Truth. Thank you. We have yes. We have yes from Truth Tarot Readings. Both correct answers. Thank you. And Chris has made his prediction. Escalate. All right. Experiment number 2. Let's turn her back on. Okay. Let's give her a few seconds to get herself acclimated. Give the device time to reset itself. All right. And now for experiment 2, we're going to introduce escalation. Here's some example investigator prompts. If anything is in this room, make this Ouija EMF device light up. If there's anyone demonic here, I demand you show yourself. Make these lights activate. I don't care if it's this one, I don't care if it's that one or the one below. I want you to make one of those blink. You can't possibly be afraid of a human, can you? All right, so you see, obviously, one, these things probably don't get a kick out of being threatened. And there's millions of people across the planet threatening them right now every time they go to these new buildings. All right, so let's shut this down. Okay. I'm going to give you one last chance. I'm going to call you out. If there's something demonic or dark here with us, show us a sign. Make the device react. Touch me. Pull my hair. Call me Sally. Do something. No. Okay. So, since you don't feel like communicating with us, you might just be resting. All right. So, we're going to let you go. All right. We're not afraid of you. All right. Now, all right, we're going to restabilize. We're going to calm ourselves down. We're going to thank the room and the location, even though nothing was captured. We are closing the circuit now. We're going to turn the device off. We do not need, want, or expect anything else to happen. Thank you. Okay. Now, let's turn the lights back on. Let's talk about it. All right. Observation points. If the device remains calm, which it did for both experiments, sorry, you guys like looking at that. Let me give that to you so you can look at it closer. There you go. Very cool little device. All right. So the device remained calm. We didn't immediately claim paranormal cause. Instead, we observed the first time. And here's what we were supposed to be observing. When did activation occur? if it occurred? What changed in the room? If something had changed in either experiment, we would be noting that right now, okay? In which we are because we're talking about it. This is verbal or moral psychology documentation. We're talking about it. We're discussing it, debating it, arguing it, whatever it is, okay? What happened immediately before the event? Did you guys find yourselves getting amped up? Did you find yourselves pulling your legs close together? When the lights went down, what were you thinking? What was going through your mind? Were you wanting something to happen? I'm sure you were. Okay. If activity increases during escalation, what do you think that's suggesting? What do you think that's suggesting? Does that mean it's a ghost? Does that mean it's a spirit? Does that mean automatically it's demonic? Let me turn the camera a little bit more. There we go. My camera's over here on the farther right side of the screen, just past the halfway mark. Not sure why they did that, but it's very clearly off center. It bothers my OCD. That's how I noticed it. But so evidence must survive scrutiny is the point. Okay. We have nothing to provide tonight to go against scrutiny besides the fact that there was nothing here with us, right? Everybody in the room agrees with that. Nothing happened. Nothing was escalated. We tried to escalate it. No go. All right. They're resting. They're just flipping us off. They don't care. They don't want to get up and attack us. It's not worth it. Doesn't matter what the reason is. We didn't capture anything escalated. Tonight was containment laboratory experiment number 2. All right. This is a theme we're going to run through the 1st of November. All right. It's part of our growth arc here. All right. With that being said, thank you for tuning in. Now, containment laboratory from earlier, okay, which we were discussing the theory we just tested. The prediction moment was the title, and it was when investigations reveal their bias. The opening hook was good afternoon. And last night we did experiment number 1. All right. And so we began something different here. Remember, we are Paranormal Witchcraft LLC, chaos over or containment over chaos, evidence over egos. This is where we approach the paranormal differently. So it wasn't about a ghost hunt. It wasn't about the spectacle or the escalation. It was a containment laboratory discussion. And what we just did is the laboratory experiment following the discussion. So every day at 11, all right, we will discuss a theory. Every day at 8 p.m., we will come back here and we will experiment with that theory. Okay? Where investigation itself has now become the experiment. Yesterday, all right, 2 days ago, we removed escalation. All right. Last night, we removed escalation again in the first experiment. There was no provocation in the first one, no demanding responses, no emotional pressure, and then just observation. Then we switched gears, like you just saw, and we did it all over again, but we were duking it out with the spirits. And as you've seen, they don't really care that people are yelling and screaming at them on camera. All right. I just wanted people to understand that with the experiments. Everything you're seeing around you is propagated. What if investigators sometimes accidentally create the activity they seriously think they're discovering and showing you guys? That's a big problem for the community now, isn't it? Because there's not only just one of them doing it, there's thousands. You can pick any platform, this one or a social media, any other streaming platform, and you'll see it. Okay? Remember, we aren't here to call people out. We aren't here to debate with everybody. Okay? If you want to debate, you can do it in the comments. Notice we're not interested in being debated against. We're just here to bring up some different ideas, do a little bit of paranormal investigation experimentation here for the next few weeks. And you guys can make up your own mind whether those people on TV or whether the podcasters here are investigating truthfully or if they're escalating. The choice is yours. Okay? Another important question for you guys. You should be watching closely because this idea that we're presenting might just change the way you see paranormal investigation forever. The human brain constantly predicts reality. It anticipates events before they even happen to us. It's trying to protect us. That's what it does. Inside paranormal investigations, that ability becomes dangerous if you don't control yourself. You'll hear me say things like psychological environment stability. That means, are you okay emotionally? Are you okay tonight to hunt? You're not too upset. You're not too tired. You're not too worried. Because if you are, you might accidentally be affecting your hunts. Makes sense when you stop and think about it. Pull back from the glitz and the glitter and the bells and the whistles of the hunt, and what are you left with? Human beings. Okay? Because once somebody starts predicting activity, what happens? You're off to the races. Everybody starts jumping in, and you don't even have to argue it anymore. Everyone just believes it. Doesn't matter if it's real or not anymore. You're just so into the moment, you go with it. Have you done that before? All right. When I was brand new, of course I did. I didn't know any better. Okay. Everyone in the room starts searching for confirmation. People start getting up. People start getting uptight. Other people start screaming. Someone else starts crying. The whole room's on fire now. What happened? Nothing really. Somebody just got themselves out of control. That's not evidence. Okay. That's escalation. There's a huge difference. Have you ever heard someone say, "Did you hear that? Did you see that? What was that?" Any number of terms. Yes, we all have. I have. Chris does on his hunts. Everybody does. It's a common question. Okay. But it's not when no one else heard it. That's the big difference. The big key takeaway here is that on most investigation channels, what you're seeing is there's probably one or two individuals that are always escalating, all right, before they even get to the hunt, all right. So if you've ever heard someone say anything like that, number one, you need to make sure you heard it too. And if you haven't, you need to be honest. Don't just run with it because you're trying to make a good show. What makes a good show when it's real is the fact that you don't have to purport, you don't have to fake. It just happens like it did with the Epoch box a week ago. We were turning this way, and all of a sudden, no, 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 yes, yes, yes. Okay, right? That was real evidence. We weren't escalating that at all. I was trying to focus on you guys. Do you see the difference in the two experiments yet? Okay. We'll give the scenario we gave last night. There's 4 or 5 people sitting in a room investigating. One says, "I feel like something moved behind me." Great. I would go, "Are you sure?" I would go, "Where?" Okay. But I wouldn't immediately get up and go, "Oh, here we go." And that's what everyone around us is doing currently. Right? Without any iota of real investigation or contempt, you're just, "Yep, that's what it is." Okay. Notice the pattern around us. Think about the pattern you're watching if you're watching those individuals. that have a lot of followers. Something interesting just happened. All right. You may have just realized that, what did we say a few minutes ago? Watch closer, watch closely, because this just might change the way you look at paranormal investigation forever. And I'm not kidding there. Okay. So, in that example, immediately the room becomes tense. People stand up, they start getting excited just because somebody said, I feel like I felt something move near me. There was no confirmation for the most part. If you watch a lot of these, it's utter chaos. Immediately, something happens and the room starts falling apart. It may not happen right away, but it happens within a few minutes. Goes back to the examples we've used in the past few weeks. Have you ever seen it done in an investigation? I think we've all raised our hands. Notice the pattern. Think about it as you're watching other investigators. Are they escalating and not even realizing it? All right. It's a feasible question. All right. So I invite you guys back to tune in tomorrow at 11 a.m., where we will talk about another paranormal theory, all right, tied to containment over chaos, evidence over the ego's protocol. Now we will come back here again at 8 o'clock, like we just did, and we will run 2 experiments, one calm, one escalated, all right, and you guys get to vote yet again. Okay. So as you've watched tonight's experiment, how did you feel about that? Leave us a comment down below. Okay. Now would be a good time at the end of the live stream here to remind everybody that we do have a Patreon. It is set up. Okay. I will be looking at it tomorrow because Thursday we're going to try to go live from there, the Patreon app, at 2 p.m. And so far, the only person who might be attending is Chris because it's an email audience application, which means there'll be no more posting on social media where it's going to get restricted or someone else is going to say you can't share it because they don't like you. And so that is why we're going to Patreon. Okay. We're going to stop being codependent on social media platforms. Social media platforms control what you do, what you say, and how you do it. Okay. And so moving to Patreon lets us grow. It lets me continue to conduct business, which I can't do right now because social media has us tied up. Okay. So right now it's like I'm tied up and there's nothing I can do on social media for 6 more days. All right. That is not efficient. That's very conducive to a startup business. Okay. So there is a website as well. All right. It's not the best website, but there is a website. Okay. Those people who think they have spirits, there's a place there you can request an evaluation. Okay. There's a number of other things that it offers. Okay. I had to go through it, redo it, take the brotherhood out of it, etc. But there is a website. It is Manus generated. Okay. So we'll be utilizing that. The idea is that we stream here every day, 11 and 8, 11 and 8, 11 and 8. 11 a.m. is the theory. 8 p.m. is the experiment on the theory. A little paranormal investigation, experimentation, if you will. All right. It's fun. It's engaging. It's different. Okay. And it may very well change the way you do your paranormal investigations. So, that being said, we are going to do our very best Thursday at 2 p.m. to do a membership live. That's what it is for. It is for the Facebook group. We have 1,000 people over there in that group. All right. And I'm going to have a hell of a time getting emails, but that's how it works is you ask for everybody's email. And then that way, when I'm ready to go live on Patreon, I use Substack. It sends everyone's email a notification, and then 5 minutes later, boom, I'm on camera, and you guys will show up in the comments like that. We don't need to worry about social media anymore. I've got 3,007 friends. I'm probably lucky if 30 people look at anything we share lately. Okay. There's a huge engagement problem on social media. That is a growth problem for a business. All right. Now you can see why I've transitioned. Okay. So, that being said, my friends, we look forward to seeing Chris and hopefully a couple others by Thursday. But if not, don't fret. Okay. We are on a 5 year growth plan. That means in 5 years, this business, which is a 501c hybrid, geared towards educational and services, spiritual, investigation, etc. All right. We have 5 years to make sure our foundation is good and we have clientele, we have working relationships, etc. All right. And I think we're doing a hell of a job. We have Witchfinder Dating, Social Coven, and we have Blue Mountain Paranormal. Lead investigator at Blue Mountain is Matt Hornick. Lead investigator for Paranormal Witchcraft LLC is myself. Okay. So we are collaborating together, but we are still operating separately. All right. Same with Witchfinder Dating. All right. She's got a little more resources and foundation than we do at Paranormal Witchcraft. All right. But that's kind of the road we're looking at is we are a self-contained unit for the business. We don't need to worry about social media except for engaging you guys in the groups. Okay. So it is getting us more efficient as we go. So you'll see a lot of pivoting. You might see another time change or two until we get our niche here. All right. So there's a little bit of behind the scenes on top of it to give you guys a little bit of an Easter egg on what you can expect Thursdays. We're going to let you guys know what we're working on, what we're thinking about. We'll ask your opinions. All right. There's a $1 a month tier that includes all that because I don't like charging people. We are a nonprofit. Okay. And I don't like the fact that all these apps make you charge something. So $1 a month was the lowest I could go. All right. So that being said, I'm going to get off here. I do have tomorrow morning and tomorrow night already set up in the queue. All right. I'm liking this setup. It leaves me a bunch of free time during the day to do conference calls, answer messages, talk with mentees, look at the Brotherhood because that is still my home group. You get the idea. Okay. So have yourselves a good night. We'll see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. with a different containment idea to talk about. Okay. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. Enjoy your night. This has been shared to Facebook. As far as I can tell, there's nobody, Chris, looking at the lives. Nobody. So it is what it is. So our growth focus is here anyways. Okay, so social media, we're just going to be leaving some social medias apps behind as far as engagement and etc. Because what I want to do is get to you guys face to face like this. We have Chris, we have Truth Tarot, we have someone else who was in here, which I did not catch, but you were in here at one point. Probably just somebody who got curious and wandered in. So thank you for the thumbs up. That helps our growth. We are so close to breaking 100 subscribers. All right. And I don't know when it's going to happen, but I know it's close. And once that happens, the goal is 1,000. And then after that, it's looking like the goal is 1,000 to 10,000 within about the next year. All right. All right. And so that's a long time to do these things. So I'm not in a rush. I'm not in a hurry. Okay. I am here to get to engagement. I'm here to contact. I'm here to engage. I'm here to conversate as we do these laboratory theory and experiments. Okay. So we approach the paranormal very, very differently. Have yourselves a beautiful, beautiful evening. I am Tobias Josephson, and we are Paranormal Witchcraft LLC. Blessings and blessed be. We'll see you in the morning.